Hello, my name is Karen and I'm a children's librarian with the Santa Clara County Library District. Every year we participate in the Silicon Valley Reads program to bring together the community through common texts and programs. This year the theme is kindness and resiliency and hope, and one of the books that was chosen for children to read is The Girl in the Gold Dress. And this is about a young girl named Hana, whose name in Korean literally means gold dress. And there's a very special reason behind that. But she is coming up on doing a performance in her school's talent show, and she is embarrassed about sharing the music and the culture and her heritage that the children in her school may find it something to be made fun of. But as she learns about her history and the particular hanbok that she is wearing, she comes to find that there is pride in her culture and to share that with everybody. So as one of the main themes of this book, the hanbok, we're going to talk about a little bit of the history of it. Now, I'm not a native Korean speaker, so I do apologize if my pronunciation is off. But here in the picture on this image, you can see both a man and a woman wearing a hanbok. It is native to Korea, and it consists of three different parts. You have the baji, which are the pants, the jeogori, the jacket that they both wear, and the chima, which is the skirt that the woman wears. Korea's been around for thousands of years and has quite an extensive history, but the hanbok that we see today really is based on the designs from the Joseon dynasty, and you can see here more pictures of what that looks like. As time has changed, the different colors have been used, different patterns, the lengths of the jeogori and the chima have changed to varying tastes. But by the late 1900s and even in today, you usually see hanbok being worn for family celebrations and formal occasions. To this, there is some meaning to what you see on the hanbok. At weddings, you would usually see peonies to represent wealth and honor. Nobility were allowed to wear lotus flowers. When children were being wished for, women would wear pomegranates or bats, and royalty could even wear tigers and dragons and cranes and gilding on their hanbok. Colors also have a meaning as well. Adults tend to wear more muted colors and children bright colors. And you can see here in the picture that on the right, the children, they're all very brightly colored. Lots of pinks and reds and yellows. Married women would wear a lot of green and red. If you were married and you had a son, you would wear navy a lot of time. There were special colors devoted to higher status, and lower status would usually wear white or gray, charcoal, light pink, much more muted colors. You can also see here in the picture on the bottom left, the child with the striped sleeves. That is very traditional for children to wear stripes like that as well. But that's not to say that the hanbok is not making a comeback in fashion. You're starting to see much more merging with modern culture. The boy band BTS likes to wear one every so often, and you can see a much more modern take on it. Shorter styles, Western prints, much more gilding and embroidery, a lot more colors. They used to just be dyed with plant dyes, and now you get much more choice. You can even see with this woman on the coat on the bottom, the shape of the hanbok has been reimagined for a more traditional, or I'm sorry, not traditional, but more modern as a coat here instead of in the traditional way. And you might see more modern accessories, shoes, and mixing and matching of the cuts and the styles of the jeogori and the baji between the genders. Okay, so that's just a tiny bit of history. There is so much more, and you can certainly go online and see just many, many beautiful colors and patterns and styles. But for today, we're going to be designing our own hanbok, and so in the kit that you picked up from your library, you're going to find a piece of watercolor paper. On one side, you'll see the outline of a woman, and if you flip it over, you'll see the outline of a man. So you get to choose which one you would like to design. I'm going to start here with this woman. And depending on what you want to do, you could use watercolor paints. You can use, I have colored pencils. or if I turn it that way. You're also going to see fabric in that envelope. So there is a piece of traditional striped fabric that you could use. You know, it's a much heavier silky texture, so the feeling of this fabric would have been more of something more in the winter because it's much warmer. And then there's a lighter fabric, it's the front. I have a couple of colors. There's some green, some purple, there's another green, a red, with some chrysanthemums embroidered on it. So both of these fabrics came from Korea. And so you should have one of those, a piece of stripe and one of the colors. So I'm going to start here with my image. And I actually want to put some decoration on there. So I think I'm going to draw some vines. So starting with my pencil, just to kind of get an idea of what I want it. And I can always really erase some pencil marks. You know, maybe I'll draw a branch, kind of a general thing like this, and you know, put some stylized flowers around it. If you wanted to draw lotus or peonies or chrysanthemums, if you want to make shapes, whatever works for you. I'll just start with that for a little bit, and then maybe I will try my hand at drawing a crane. I was practicing, so not the best, but that's all right because art is a couple of ovals. There we go, neck, and some tail feathers, and some legs. Yeah. Maybe. Okay, well his wings are going over this part, so we'll just say he's flying over the branch. And we just gotta put in a few feathers here. And you'll notice I'm just kind of lightly sketching. I'm not making this it's not too exact. That's really what I'm trying to say. Whatever you can do, you can do. And that is all right. It needs an eye. You'll erase that line there. Okay. So that's the start. I'm going to add a little bit more color to mine. So I'm going to get some pencils. But that's just a guideline for me to get started. Start with a brown pencil here. Open this up and kind of go over a little bit of what I was doing. You can always fill in a little bit if you want to. And I think maybe some pink flowers might be nice. So I've got a pinkish red color here. I'm just going to come in and start adding a little bit more. Because I had done a few of these flowers, I kind of knew what shape I wanted to make some stylized flowers, and so I didn't have to draw them all before, but I'll certainly add in a few more now and fill out this branch. I'm just, you know, with one like this where it's not really touching any branch, I'm just kind of imagining that there are more flowers or more structure behind that, because this is just a very stylized, ideal type of drawing. So that if we were to really make one of these, then maybe it would be embroidered on or hand painted on. All kinds. There we go, some flowers. I'm going to find my black here. Here it is. And I'm just going to trace over a bit on some of this to make it stand out a bit more. And I'm just using some lines here to really denote what some of those feathers might actually look like. So again, just a very quick interpretation here of this bird's wing. And it really kind of extends up behind the tie on the jacket, the Giagori right here on this one. You know, and it's tied here. That's a very traditional way to tie this jacket. A few more feathers. Okay. And the bird, it's got some beaks and has a beak and a leg, so let's color those in. Pencil's not cooperating. Let me find a different pencil. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so we'll color that beak in. And the legs here. And just going off the... Okay, so very much stylized. And you can draw whatever you would like, as you can see. I'm certainly not the world's greatest artist, but it works. I am now going to decide what I want to do next. And so let me look here a little bit with the fabric. You know, I might decide to cut some off and put it here on the sleeves of the jacket. So this is in a collage style. I'm just going to eyeball this a little bit. So maybe about that long. You can see I've cut a piece off about the size of her sleeve. Do the same thing here. And cut off another piece of fabric. Nice sharp pair of scissors will do wonders here. Oh, I didn't cut very straight, but that's okay. So we'll pretend that her Giagori's got stripes on her sleeve. Or maybe if you wanted, you could use one of these other fabrics for the chima, and you could kind of lay it on there and tuck it up. And when you're happy with what you see, you can take some glue and glue the fabric down. So I'll do that next. Oh, I got threads here. So just some white sticky glue, tacky glue. Get it out of the bottle. If it wants to come out of the bottle. Very slowly. Thank goodness. Let's try it. ton, just enough to kind of tack it down and hold it, just so. All right, and I'm going to put my fabric on. It's a little bit long. I'm just going to trim the end off there. There we go. Okay. Some more here. Okay. Now it's not exact as if we had sewn it and it's completely seamed, but close enough. And then I'm going to actually, you could color the whole thing in colored pencil if you want. I'm actually going to go to my watercolors. And so I have, I lost a brush. Somewhere. Oh wait, here it is. Okay, so I'm going to start with a small brush. And with watercolors, you just need a cup of water, so there's some water. I think I'm going to start with probably a darker pink jacket. So I'm going to add some water that's on my brush to this paint here and swirl it around and mix it. And the thing with watercolors is once you start putting it on, you can spread it out. And if the color is too dark, you can always get a little bit of water and come back and spread it out some more. And so this paper that you were given is meant for watercolors, so it'll hold up and not get wrinkly. And you can see as the paint dries, it gets to be a lighter color. And so you can always come pick up some more paint from the cakes of paint and add to it. Just so. And then there's some more water. And there's that sleeve, or the side of the jacket rather. And I think I'm going to come down and, well, now see it's dried, so I can go back and add a little bit more and darken that up a little bit. Okay. And I think I'll do more of that down here. I can always add more on to make the color darker and richer. Alright, so I'm going to switch colors. So I'll rinse off my brush and just give it a quick wipe down on a towel just to get any excess paint off. And I think maybe I will make the tie of her dress a yellow. So I'll come over here and get some yellow, something nice and bright. There we go. All right, so now still have her skirt to do. And I think I'll probably do a blue, pretend that the bird is flying in the sky somewhere. And I think it would be a good balance to this pink color. So let's try this one. I'll just come in here. And start adding it in. And I'm just going to very lightly kind of go around where I think the bird's feathers will end. Get some more water, because I can always come back and kind of draw in some of that detail if it's not enough. Okay, we'll just keep going. With the pencil, you can actually just paint over it and it'll be all right. Color will show through. And if you worry about it having paint on top of the color pencil, you could always come back and just kind of dab off some of that extra paint. That's up to you. Sake of speed, I'll just paint over those flowers. And maybe what I will do is switch to a larger brush because it is a bigger area. So a larger brush would be useful in this case. And come back in. That's a good color. A little bit more water. It's getting a little dry. And so you can really see, you know, like where I've painted more, where the color is thicker, versus where I have not put the brush as much. You get those brush strokes, so you can get some nice movement if you really wanted to try and draw some movement. It's a little like there. I think I'm just about there. What I would like to do next is come back with my small brush. I'm going to get a little bit of this black. And I'm just going to kind of come in here and fairly lightly, not pushing too hard on the bristles. Make some lines to kind of show the feathers from the wing. And because I'm doing the black glass, I can go over some of that blue. There we go. It's a little bit wet. Okay, there you go. And there's some tail feathers in there too. So very stylized. So you can choose to decorate your Hanbok any way you want to. You can let this dry, and then once it does, flip the paper over and do the other side for the man. And just be creative. It's all up to you. All right, so thank you for joining us today. And I hope you have fun making your own designs. Bye.